This is a combined meeting of the regular pre-council and city council meeting on Tuesday, January 17th, 2017. The Honorable Mayor Bob Odenkirk presiding. The invocation will be given by Reverend Matt Robinson of the Westminster Presbyterian Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Thank you. Let us pray. O gracious God, you created all people in your image, and we thank you for the astonishing variety of races, cultures in this world. Enrich our lives by ever-widening circles of friendship and show us your presence in those who differ most from us, until our knowledge of your love is made perfect in our love for all your children. O high and holy God, you rule the ways of peoples and govern every earthly government. Bring peace and goodwill among all people. Give all in authority the wisdom and strength to know your will and to do it. Help them remember that they are called to serve the people as lovers of truth and justice. Almighty God, bless those who hold office in the government of Joliet, that they may do their work in a spirit of wisdom, kindness, and justice. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to promote the general welfare. Renew the ties of mutual regard that form our civic life and send us honest and able leaders. Help us to eliminate poverty, prejudice, and oppression, that peace may prevail with righteousness and justice, with order, and that men and women from various cultures and with differing talents may find with one another the fulfillment of their humanity. All this, Lord, we pray in your holy name. Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
I won't shake your hand because I've got it.
Well, Peggy did a good job.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odenkirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Here?
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda under Mayor Odenkirk appointments. The mayor is recommending to appoint the following to the Will County Metropolitan Exposition and Auditorium Authority Board: Donnie Chestnut, Jeff Pearson, Kathy Trizna, and Joe Carlasari. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens to be heard on agenda items.
Mayor,
Yes,
did you want to introduce the two?
yeah, two of the new appointees are present. If you guys want to come forward for a minute. Yeah, thank you for stepping up. I have to say for the record, I had over 40 people apply for those positions, and it was difficult because there are a lot of good people in our community who want to help. But I know both of you, and I know you're going to do a great job. If you just want to introduce yourself to the council real quickly, that'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for the vote of confidence, and it's such an opportunity. I am Donnie Chestnut. I've lived in Joliet since '74. I came here when I was really young. Currently, I'm in banking, been in banking for the last 29 years, currently with Providence Bank and Trust. My office is in Lockport. However, I will be moving over to Shorewood later this second quarter of this year. Again, thank you for the vote of confidence and the opportunity to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donnie.
Good evening. My name is Joe Carlasari. I'm an attorney, and I just want to say thank you to the council, thank you to the community for the opportunity to serve. I can tell you, we've spoken all the current appointees so far. I think we have a good team. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we really do it justice and really do the job as well as we absolutely possibly can. So look forward to serving. Thank you for the vote of confidence, and I hope to reward that trust. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items.
Good evening. I'm Ed Rachel, president of State Hands Local 124, and I just want to say thank you to the board and the council for all that you've done. It's been a real challenge, and it's just great to see that you've all worked together and you found a way or a solution to keep things going. And that's really important, not only for downtown, but just for the city. Also, I'd just like to say thank you for finding the squad cars for the guys, because I remember back in the day when I was working, we didn't have a lot of cars. I used to ask for the bag of dimes so I can get on the bus to go to a call. I'm glad that everything worked out, and you guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? Seeing none. Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Motion?
Second?
It's been motion and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council committee reports, Finance Committee report.
The Finance Committee met just prior to this meeting at 5:30. The committee is comprised of Councilman Girl, Councilman Mudrin, and myself. We reviewed the monthly financial report, the personnel summary, travel expense report, invoices paid report. Found them all to be in order, recommend their approval. We will have more information on the year-end report at next month's meeting. There's still some sales tax and other things that are still coming in that needs to be recorded for the end of this 2016, and we'll have a better report next month on how we ended up the year.
Public Safety Committee report.
Yes, Your Honor, the Public Safety Committee met this evening as well. Public Safety consists of Councilman Hug, Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer, myself. Also in attendance was Chief Benton and Chief Formhall. We had 4 items of business that we discussed. The first item was the authorization to purchase a Level 4 ballistic vest, 165 for our officers. That's on your agenda tonight for approval. It's Council Memo 44-17. In addition, we had the authorization to approve the 2017 Joliet Police Department and Joliet PSAP's 9/11 surcharge grants. This is a grant for the Police Department, and we are going to accept that grant here tonight, and it's Council Memo 36-17. Our third item of business was authorization to approve the 2017 intergovernmental agreement with Will County 9/11 Emergency Telephone System Board in order to receive a grant for our fire department. And that's on your agenda tonight, and it's Council Memo 30-17. And then the final item of business that we discussed is the authorization to purchase 14 Motorola digital portable radios. The fire department's actually going to be using the dollars it received from 9/11, the grant dollars from 9/11, to purchase those digital phone. And that is on your agenda under Council Memo 38-17. And that concludes my report, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Public Service Committee report.
Yes, the Public Service Committee met this afternoon at 4:30 here at City Hall. The committee consists of myself, Councilwoman Gavin, and Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer. In attendance were directors and a gaggle of engineers from both the Public Works Department and the Public Utilities Department. Generally, most of it was items, housekeeping, contracts, and bills being paid were found to be in good order. 2 things I would point out. Number one, there were some people that always said, will that bridge ever be built on I-80 to relieve the traffic? Well, Mayor, as you know, it's being built. We took the next step. We approved what amounts to 0.2% of the total budget, which is what we're responsible for. But that's for the project manager.
So that's now a go. It's going to come before the council this evening with a anonymous or unanimous recommendation to approve. And the other thing is the LED program. I want to thank the staff, Jim Chisholm and the staff that came forward. We pushed up phase 1 and 2 together right away because the long and the short of it, if we do it by May, instead of getting $50 reimbursed on that program, we're going to get 88 or 50% reimbursed. I'm sorry. We're going to get 88% reimbursed. We're going to pay 12% for the total project. A lot of savings in the money. There's over 600 lights, LED lights going up in phase 1 and 2. We finished up another phase from last year. This is phase 1 and 2 of this year. Please make note, that's just the grant portion. We do have other LED and based on replacement of lighting systems in other parts of the city, including Collins Street, that will be getting brand new lighting poles and such. And when those new light poles are put in, they're going to obviously be installed with LED lighting fixtures. And that program for Collins Street particularly is scheduled to start towards the end of the summer. And that's all I have.
Thank you. If I could comment, Jim, thank you to you and staff. I know when I came into office, we pushed hard about increasing the grants that we apply for that we get, and we're starting to see the results of that, so.
Well, I want to thank staff for keeping an eye on the grants program because this came along all of a sudden because surprisingly, other cities weren't taking advantage of it. So they increased the percentage to those who were willing to step up with their share, and it's really going to significantly decrease the cost of the project as well as get this done about 1.5 years early.
Good. Good work.
I show no other reports.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
I just have one addition to the Finance Committee. I failed to mention that Councilman Hugg was also in attendance at the meeting.
I feel special. Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
Under consent agenda, approval of minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the combined meeting held on January 3rd, 2017 stand approved as recorded. Invoices paid report. It's recommended this report be received and placed on file. Council Memo 21-17, regular payroll for November 25th through December 8th, 2016, $3,373,426.81. Council Memo 22-17, regular payroll for December 9th through December 22nd, 2016, $3,383,917.75. It's recommended said regular payrolls be approved. And Council Memo 23-17, position vacancies. It's recommended the city manager be authorized to fill up to 3 summer laborer positions in the Public Utilities Plant Operations Division, up to 1 laboratory intern position in the Public Utilities Plant Operations Division, up to 6 summer laborer positions in the Public Works Roadways Division, up to 4 urban forestry intern positions in the Public Works Roadways Division, 1 maintenance worker position in Public Works Roadways Division, 1 police patrol officer position, 1 IT system administrator position, 1 deputy fire chief position, 1 legal secretary, court services coordinator in the legal department. In addition, it's recommended job descriptions for the deputy fire chief, legal secretary, court services coordinator, and system administrator be approved. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hugg.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 25-17, issuance of a Class CD liquor license at 825 West Jefferson Street, A&K Convenient. I believe Deputy Liquor Commissioner Rich Gepper is here.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have before today you, Council Memo 25-17. A public hearing was held on December 14th, 2016, 9:00 a.m. for a requested Class C and D new liquor license. The applicant is Khalil Dabaj. Doing business is A&K Convenient. The location is 825 Jefferson Street. No persons appeared in opposition at the hearing. There are no outstanding monies owed to the city. The business is currently a tobacco store with apartments upstairs. There's also an apartment building next door to the west. Both buildings utilize a 10 parking spot area in the rear. Director of Community Development found that adding a retail liquor store to the existing tobacco store might impact the character of the neighborhood by increasing customer traffic. There are 16 liquor licenses within a mile radius of this location. Based on these facts, the Liquor Commissioner concludes that there is just cause to deny this application.
I would so move for denial.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve a resolution denying the liquor license for A&K Convenient located at 825 West Jefferson Street. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Your ordinances and resolution under ordinances, Council Memo 27-17, an ordinance declaring certain properties as public nuisances. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor? Just to note that there are several properties around town, and as you know, this is the next step to gain compliance. We send them notifications on home improvements that need to be made. Some are not as compliant as others. And so, although they end up on this list of being declared a public nuisance, not all of them are torn down in the city. Just a reminder, because every meeting we have several of these, and our hope is to, in 90% of the cases, to gain compliance.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve Council Memo 27-17. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Along those same lines, Mayor and Chief Benton, I received a phone call. I've received this phone call many times. There's a house in the 100 block of Caesar, which is a public nuisance. The house is in foreclosure. The people that live there have caused nothing but havoc throughout the neighborhood in the St. Pat's area. And I'm wondering if we could look into it a little further. The person that lives there now has been brought to the city council before on a violation of a dog ordinance. And I guess since then, things have just been up in arms. I don't know if you were aware of it again. And the only reason I'm bringing it up publicly is because the emails and phone calls that I've received, it's like they say that we're hiding it, that we're afraid to tackle this particular home. And I just want out there in the public that I'm speaking to you about it and that you're aware of it, and I know that you are working on it. So therefore, I will vote aye for the public nuisances, but that is also a public nuisance. Thank you.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Thank you, Jim, for leaving my house off there again. Aye.
Motion carried.
Chief, if at the next meeting, if you can give an update whether the NOPT officers in the area have anything, thank you.
Council Memo 28-17, an ordinance approving the tax increment financing district eligibility study and redevelopment plan and project for the present St. Joseph Medical Center area redevelopment project area, and an ordinance designating the present St. Joseph Medical Center area redevelopment project area, and an ordinance adopting tax increment financing. It's recommended said ordinances be adopted.
Mayor?
Yes.
Just a reminder that at our last meeting, Ed Dollinger attended, who's the chairman of the St. Joseph Hospital Board, and he was piling accolades onto City Council for this concept because it really creates a connection in the area around the hospital so that they can keep their physicians as close as possible and try and get them to reinvest in our community and bring up to today's modern standards some of the facilities surrounding the hospital.
Well, in that vein, Jim, thank you to you and Steve Jones for working, and Kendall for working with St. Joe's on this. This is a really good program, and I'm glad we were finally able to get this done, so thank you for the help.
So I will make the motion to approve.
Second?
Been motioned and seconded to approve said ordinances. Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilman Turk,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under Resolutions, Council Memo 30-17, a resolution requesting the authorization to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Will County 911 Emergency Telephone System Board in order to receive a grant in the amount of $91,242. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved. Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilman Turk,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 31-17 is a resolution accepting dedication of a public utility and drainage easement for a water main at the proposed Pabst Blue Ribbon Warehouse located at 1511 Olympic Boulevard. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
Mayor?
Yes.
Just to note that the need for this, as you know, council, this came before council and you approved the expansion, but they're looping the water system for fire suppression around the building.
Motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk,
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 32-17 is a resolution authorizing the sale of 320 Grover to adjacent property owner. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin,
Aye.
Councilman Girl,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye.
Councilman Morris,
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 33-17, a resolution appropriating additional funds for the John Street Prairie Avenue roadway improvement project 2015. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Second.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 34-17, a resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the Osgood Street, 2nd Avenue roadway improvements project. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 35-17, a resolution authorizing the donation of neighborhood stabilization program properties to the adjacent property owners. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 36-17, a resolution approving the 2017 Joliet Police Department and Joliet PSAP's 911 surcharge reallocation grants. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under bids and contracts, award of contracts, Council Memo 38-17, purchase 14 Motorola APX 7000 XC digital portable radios and miscellaneous radio equipment for the fire department. Council Memo 39-17, award a contract for the 2017 streetlight luminaries purchase order Phase 1. Council Memo 40-17, award a contract for the 2017 streetlight luminaries purchase order Phase 2. Council Memo 41-17, award a contract for professional engineering services for project management services to oversee the Hobart Road interchange modification and roadway reconstruction project Phase 1 and 2 engineering. Council Memo 42-17, approve annual service agreement for sewer system monitoring. Council Memo 43-17, approve a professional services agreement for the 2017 through 2019 Utilities GIS mapping program. Council Memo 44-17, purchase Level 6 ballistic vests. Council Memo 45-17, award software maintenance for VMware virtual software. It's recommended Council Memos 38 through 45-17 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman
Aye.
Hug. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. Jim, did you want to display the map that you provided earlier today?
Certainly. We can. This is a overhead map showing the areas that are in orange are Phase 1 of the LED program. Our staff is going up and down Essington Road right now. Our electricians installing right now, and so they are too busy to be able to do the installation. And so part of the motion you approved this evening was Phase 2 and 3, which is in blue to the west side of the city, and then Phase 3 is the purple over on the east side of the city. And we're hiring our electrical contractor that we have on, that we have do most of the work that our electricians can't do the labor for the project. And that labor is part of the grant program as well. So as you can see, it'll just leave some Far East ornamental lighting in the green that would be left once we complete the program.
Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 47-17, approve change order number 1 for the 2016 Utilities Electrical Maintenance Service Agreement. Council Memo 48-17, approve change order number 4 for the Osgood Street, 2nd Avenue Roadway Improvements Project. Council Memo 49-17, approve change order number 1 for the 2016 Electrical Maintenance Assistance Contract. It's recommended Council Memos 47 through 49-17 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Quick comment. Jim, thank you for correcting me. I kept saying Phase 1 and 2 earlier, and it's actually 2 and 3. And just to build on just one last detail, when we say that our staff can't do it, because we have a compressed time frame of May to get it done,
Right.
if we don't, then we only get 50% back. So actually, by subcontracting it out,
We save more money.
we save money by getting 88% back.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make that clear. And so my vote is aye, obviously.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
Just a couple of things. So the public knows, the street lights that were out on Collins Street are now repaired and powered, and they're up and running. But going back to the position vacancies that you approved earlier, I just want to talk about a couple of them because a lot of these were authorized as part of the annual budget, and they're also continuing commitments that you as members of council have shown to our downtown. We've, in the last couple of years, we've purchased a power washer, and last year a gum remover. And so we hire students during the summer. We have 6 of them. Public Works supervises them, trains them, and they do a lot of maintenance in our downtown and our entryways throughout the city. Also, there are 4 positions in the urban forestry internships. And what these people do are we try and find forestry majors, horticulture majors at local colleges, and they take iPads with our software out into the field, and they do actual tree identification and then through our GIS, locate where that tree is and put in information such as, estimated age, the height, the girth of the tree, its condition, and so forth, so that we can have eventually an inventory of all of our trees in the city. So those are a couple that I do want to point out. Last year, you added some summer laborers, including a laboratory position in the sewer division. And then, of course, you added the public works position that'll be doing grinding on our sidewalks to level out some of those areas where we've got 2-3 inch lifts on our sidewalks. And then I have a request for closed session.
New business not for final action or recommendation.
New business, Brooke?
None.
Yeah, Mayor, I have one thing. Jim, and I know we've talked about the street lights, and I called myself going to get more information. I didn't hear the full report this morning on NBC. It was, I can't remember, it was Evanston maybe, the LED lights was keeping people awake, and I need all my sleep. So
Hold the shade.
those are the same lights we're going to be using here, but I try to I don't know what you can go on their website to get the report. I was getting dressed, and I didn't hear the full report about the lights, the bulbs, the LED bulbs. They're going to the new LED bulbs, like
Yes.
I guess we're doing here.
Yes.
But for some reason or another, somebody figured out that they were keeping the people, they were losing sleep or something. I don't know. Was I the only one looking at the news this morning?
You're talking about a frequency difference, or?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear the full report.
Well, the LEDs are brighter. The mercury vapor and the other lights kind of have a red-orange shade to them. The LED.
They did mention something about the
Right,
shade, right?
right.
I didn't know if that was what we were going to be using or.
I think the LEDs, the electrical company, ComEd, will tell you that it does not project as wide of light, but it's much more intense directly underneath. But the further away you get, the less light there is. Now, you'll have to judge on your own once we get them set up. But the other thing is in a number of cities that I've been manager in or worked in, you can put shades on the light post, actually. So if we get a complaint, there's something you can put to shade it a bit and direct it more downward rather than into homes.
Okay. I mean, because they were just speaking about the fact that they had bought these bulbs and now they have
Right.
to, get new bulbs or something. So.
Well, that's not part of our plan.
All right, good.
The biggest improvement for the city is it's going to reduce the monthly cost that we pay in electrical, and the life is 20 to 25 years. So our electricians aren't going to be out there repairing, replacing bulbs as much, and they can work on other things.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yes.
I just wanted, as long as you're on the streetlights, to reiterate, this map is only showing, we said east, but it's not going to the actual east side. This is other phases that we're going to see continue to go further east. I know Collins Street was not part of that. It's actually a different program. There is more to be seen, correct? I'm reiterating
Yes,
for everybody.
Jim, can you talk about the Collins Street light replacement project?
Yeah, on Collins Street itself, we're totally replacing the existing lights. We're going to start at Van Buren, just north of Jefferson. As you come around the curve on Jefferson, it becomes Collins. And we're gonna have two phases of that contract. The first phase will go to Columbia Street, and the second phase north of there will extend north to Old Woodruff Road. And those will be totally new lights. Those lights there are about 50, 55 years old.
Jim, you're talking about the post itself, right?
Yeah, we're replacing the foundation, the post, the lamp, everything there. And we're using motor fuel tax on that project. The LED project, Brooke, as you indicated, there is another. This isn't the last phase with these two right now. As you look at the map, there's a yellow shading, and there's numerous streets from the kind of the middle of town to the east side of town that we still need to do lights on, and that'll be another phase. If we're fortunate enough and get our incentive money back, maybe in July, if this program is still as sweet as I like to say, as good of a deal, if you get that much return back, we may be able to turn around and do another one yet this fall and winter. If not, we'll keep looking for grants for that one, for that yellow phase. And the other thing is, there's actually, that doesn't include the state routes. The state routes are going to be a whole different project in themselves because we're dealing with IDOT. IDOT has very high, requirements, and they may have us go back into looking at the spacing of the existing lights. We may have to use a little bit higher wattage bulb. Basically, most of these major lights we're doing with the LED program right now, where we're going from 400 watt high pressure sodium bulbs down to 174 watt to 174 watt LED bulb, and that's where you're getting your big electricity reduction.
Right. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that for everyone who didn't get a chance to really read everything on here, that I know there's been issue with east side areas being left out or not being tended to the way they needed to. That is not the intention, and I know that we're going to work very hard to make sure that the entire city is maintained. I see everyone trying to make sure we're going ahead and making.
If I could just
all of
add, the reason we
areas.
started way out west, I think Jim kind of said that, but just to reiterate, our electricians work out of the Cass Street facility, which is east of Henderson Avenue. That's a long distance to get out to Arbiter Road, for example, for them. So we want to start west and work our way back east. We're getting the biggest bang for our dollar. For our electricians having to drive out there, the time it takes to get out there, that's the reason we started way west and working our way back east.
Right. Well, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew it's intended that everyone get taken care of.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trisna.
No. Thank you.
Mayor? Terry, please don't lose any of your beauty sleep.
No, I know, I need it all back.
Please. Mike?
Nothing.
I have a couple items. One, regarding the Rialto. Again, I want to thank everyone who applied for this, and it was difficult. People want to volunteer their time, and you have to tell them no. So it wasn't a fun task going through all those applications and talking to the people. Having said that, I did mention, and I plan on going ahead, I talked about a blue ribbon panel. I have spoken to a number of people, but not everyone, for this panel. The idea being that we take people from throughout the community, including some of the prominent business people in Joliet, and have them go in to the Rialto and give an honest assessment of what the state of the theater is and what they see the theater needing for a long-term solution. We've talked a lot about the Rialto the last couple of months. One thing that I said over and over again, and I think the council agreed, was that I was not interested in putting a Band-Aid on this or a 6-month solution. We want a long-term solution. I know that there are community members that have been involved with the theater since last summer, trying to get inside the finances and come up with a business plan or a marketing plan for the theater. I think streamlining those efforts into something that could be brought forward to the community, I hope that this panel would make recommendations to the city council, to the Rialto board, to the county board, to the state, whomever comes in their purview. But I think the idea is to get people together and have an honest assessment, a non-political honest assessment of the theater and what we all need to do moving forward to make it thrive. So now that the board members have been picked, I'd imagine at the next meeting you'll be hearing about this panel, and we'll start moving forward with them. The other issue that I plan to bring forward next meeting, I know I've talked about it already, we are facing a water issue, not just in the city of Joliet, but in this whole area. We are sitting on a water source that is projected to run dry within 20 years. So it's something that I don't want to wait. I think unfortunately in the past, city government has done that when faced with issues like this. We recently had one with the wastewater runoff project, which cost the city now $90 million. We need to start thinking about this now and getting ahead of the curve. So I plan at the next meeting, I'm bringing people forward to talk about the crisis that's looming. And I think as a council, I don't know if we're going to form a separate committee, how we're going to deal with it. We'll talk about that. But we have to start addressing this issue now, what we're going to do for water 20 years from now for the city, and what it's going to cost to provide that water. So it's an issue I plan on bringing forward at the next meeting. Thank you.
Mayor, I have
Yes.
one question. Back to your Blue Ribbon Committee. How many people are you planning to have on that committee, or you don't know yet?
I don't know. Like the Rialto Board, I could put 50 on there, you know, qualified people, but that probably won't be a good working committee.
No.
So it's difficult to limit the numbers of people. I don't want, and don't take this the wrong way, I don't want anyone from the city council. I'm not going to be serving on the committee. I want, again, a non-political solution to the Rialto Theater.
Agreed.
Yeah, so.
Just wondered.
I don't have a hard number. It's difficult to come up with a hard one.
Mayor?
Yes.
And I might suggest, in that way you'd be able to allow more Joliet citizens or Will County citizens that serve on your commission. You could have several divisions of that commission, kind of like what you did with your transition. You can have those that concentrate on physical plant and the building, those that concentrate on marketing and analyzing that, and so forth. So it's something to consider while you put it together.
Yeah, I have. I think unfortunately with this issue, and I'm going to be frank, there's people that have co-opted this issue and apparently just use it as an avenue to attack people, either current or former Rialto board members or the city council or anyone who falls in their purview. So I'd like this to be done professionally, and because of that, I'm using caution about who I'm asking to be on the panel, because I don't want this to be, again, a vehicle to air a grievance. I want this to be an honest solution to the theater.
Next, we have public comments. Willard McGoskey Jr.
I have an idea to save the Rialto. My name is Willard E. McGoskey Jr. The idea to save the Rialto is on their main floor, have people come in who are selling different things, and even stores and that, they get in free. They set their tables up to sell things free. But the people to get into them must buy a $5 movie ticket for the Rialto Theater. This can be held once a week, and the Rialto can use old movies that you've seen, some of the movies you've seen 1,000 times, but you'd see again. There's a lot of movies that seeing them once would be once too much. Gone with the Wind, The Sound of Music, certain old movies, there'd be virtually no cost to the old movies because they are an old movie. You can do it once a week, have it in the afternoon into the evening, and in order to get in to see the people who are selling their items, and it could be regular big stores, Walmart and all sorts of other stores, Sears and whatever, they get in for free. They set up for free. But in order to see them, you buy your $5 ticket for the movie. And these movies would be old classical movies, let's put it this way, that had no cost, no modern movies. You wouldn't need any people that had to have live shows going on there, so there'd be virtually no cost into it, and yet you'd have people coming down to the center of Joliet. And another reason, another way, a thing for the city of Joliet, is to make it a city center mall. Now you'd go up about 3 floors, and you'd glass over the entire, from one side of the city to the other, all the way down. And when you got to the Rialto, you'd go up over it. And you'd drop your glass walls down on the end just before Cass and before Jefferson Street and create a city center mall. Now the city center, Chicago Street being owned by the city of Joliet, all those could be rented out, spaces on there like at the mall, kiosks out at the mall. They'd all be rented out. City of Joliet would make money from them. And there's virtually all the stores that are vacant now would end up starting to fill back in again. The city would have a city center mall with a glass roof cover over the whole street. The city would gain income from the city center street itself, Chicago Street itself, by renting out the spaces or leasing out the spaces to companies that could use them. You would have a city center mall. And as far as saving the courthouse, they could, a lot of buildings in Chicago are all glass. They can go from the roof, they can use the base of the courthouse now as a base and start with a glass spiral going up however many stories they want. And have, there's stores on the different floors, but you have all glass outside of the building. And they could make a spiral out of it. And they could put in the flooring or the beams for maybe 20 or 30 floors, but yet when they started, they might only need 5 floors. But they would have the strength to go up as much as they needed. 20 years down the road, they could add another 10 stories.
Thank you, sir.
And for a real color thing to it, they could put lights on it. So when you were 20 miles away, you saw this spiral and you saw the lights on the spiral at the courthouse. And the First Midwest Bank across the building, they go up about 3 floors and just run a glass connection.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Or they could turn the city center into a bowling alley, Chicago Street. No traffic down it now.
Carol Mulvihill, Woodbridge Road. I'd just like to correct one miscommunication or misunderstanding. Those movies that we recently had, I don't know exactly how many we had, but they were each about $2,000 to $2,500 because the volunteers paid for some of those. So that's how I happen to know how much they cost, because the Rialto, if they show it publicly, they have to pay royalties. Plus there's other costs, the projection and that. So none of them were free. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comment? Mayor and council comments?
No. Just one comment, and I want to thank Jim Hawk for reaching out. We had an incident at the old prison and regarding that security around that prison. And so, Jim, thank you for reaching out to the state to get that no trespassing agreement with that. And just a warning to the community. Sometimes, we get sort of rambunctious and we want to get into things. And so please, young people, stay away from that prison. It is not safe. And we don't want anybody getting hurt or trying to sneak in there. So just want to make sure that the residents are safe. And we're doing all we can do to make sure that they're safe. So please, and thanks again, Jim, for reaching out for that.
Larry. I just wanted 2 items. My daughter's on the Plainfield Central competitive cheer team, so I will congratulate her and her entire team for a second place finish Sunday at the Plainfield South tournament. No, they did not beat Plainfield South on their home turf because the hosting school cannot participate, can only be exhibition. So congratulations to the ladies from Plainfield Central. And I want to congratulate the students from all the area high schools that last week were named to the Illinois State Scholarship. As one of the Illinois State Scholars, I should say. That's 10% of the students statewide based on testing and grades. And that includes Joliet Central, Joliet West, Plainfield South, Plainfield Central, and my son, who was picked as one of them. So a little proud dad moment. That's all I have.
I have none, yeah.
I just want to reiterate to folks, there's a nasty bug going on around out there. I've had it for a couple of weeks, and you can protect yourself, or if you do get sick, don't cough and sneeze into your hands and then touch somebody else. Do the bump if you have to shake hands. Cough into your elbow or sneeze into your clothes. But every time you sneeze, it projects germs out there and people inhale it, and that's how a lot of people are getting sick, especially with this hot, cold weather going on. The germs are not being killed. But you can help prevent spreading by not coughing and sneezing into your hands. Because whatever it is out there, it's pretty nasty, and I've had it for a couple of weeks. I know a couple of the council folks have had it, and their children have had it with high fevers. Don't wait around too long, get to the doctor as soon as you can. That's the nurse projecting community service to you. Thank you.
Free community service.
Free advice.
I have a couple things. Number one, we had another ribbon cutting last week out at 1419 Essington Road for the Gateway Foundation Alcohol and Drug Treatment. State's Attorney Jim Glasgow was there, Representative Natalie Manley, Senator McGuire, and of course our Chamber of Commerce showed up. So congratulations to Gateway and welcome to Joliet. I want to, Sunday evening, Mount Zion Church and Bishop Lattimore had a terrific service honoring Martin Luther King. Councilman Morris, you were there. You sat next to me. Councilman Turk, you were there. Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer. I want to thank Bishop Lattimore for the invitation. It was really a great service. Betty, I'm sorry. Yeah, Councilwoman Betty, too. Yesterday, Ardale Evans once again had his Martin Luther King Day of Service. We met at Joliet Central High School, and high school students and other volunteers went out all over the community. It was a great event. Again, Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer, I know you were there. We went down to Abraham Lincoln Cemetery. So thank you to Ardale Evans. This is about the 5th or the 6th year that he's done that. It's a great event, and thanks for everyone who participated. And then finally, in the last 2 weeks, we've had a couple significant fire instances in Joliet, and I want to thank our fine fire department, Chief Formals, for a great job. Those could have gotten out of control, and I think your department did a great job by keeping the neighborhood and our residents safe. So thank you to all the hardworking fire department personnel we have. That's all I have.
Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss the following subjects: personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance, pending or threatened litigation, and discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed under this act, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by Section 2.06, after which the meeting will be adjourned.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is seconded to approve. Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Hernandez Brewer.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin. Councilman Girl. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
I don't think so, but I won't need it to close.